Welcome back, folks, to the Bellied Up podcast. We're here in Fargo at the VFW once again. Charlie, I'm sitting in front of the Space Force.
I always wanted to be part of the Space Force, Miles. I wonder if I got a shot.
I mean, you're already a space cadet, so...
I am I'm already out there. You know, you think of all the money we're spending, we should be putting it, out there in space, because... I tell you what, man.
We should be putting what out in space?
Well, if we're part of the simulation, I think someone's going to come back in to check on their little petri dish, and that's us. And I think we should be ready. How we're afraid of robots, going after us? We should be ready to go after the people who made us.
So you're saying that beyond our galaxy is outside of the simulation.
Yeah. I mean, they created our galaxy. That was the Big Bang, two guys playing this really complicated video game, and they're like, Sims right there. But they call it Earth, and now they're looking at us. And
see, if I had to bet, though, the simulation is the entire universe.
Could be. But that's where Santa Claus comes from. He sees you when he's sleeping. He knows when you're awake. That's these guys. They got these telescopes that can see through walls.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, little look into how Charlie views the world.
Well, I'm not viewing the world. Those guys are.
Okay. Very true.
Yeah. So
Charlie.
Anyway, Miles, where do we go from here?
I would say what I want to talk to you today is a little bit about potlucks.
Oh, that's a good topic.
I like myself a good potluck. What do you think?
Listen, if you get the invite to the potluck, that's a lot of pressure, because what do you bring?
That would be my question is, Charlie, if you're bringing something to a potluck, what are you bringing?
I got to be honest with you, Miles. I'm going to cop out and say I'll bring the beer. And I know it's a cop out because that's not part of the potluck. Everybody knows you got to bring something else. So I'm probably going to go to the grocer and pick up some that looks tasty, come back home, put it in my own Tupperware, and then pretend like I made it.
Very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I am going to bring whatever Ann decides we're going to bring.
See, that's more of a cop-out than me.
I haven't made a decision on a potluck in a while now.
Are you good at cooking, Miles?
I'm right in the middle.
What can you cook?
I understand that we need to put spices and do sauces and how some ingredients work together.
Sure.
But I'm not doing anything crazy.
What was the last thing you cooked?
Salmon last night.
Good for you.
A little coarse salt on the top is about all it needs.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that little peppering. That's good. Good for you, man. I like that.
Little cucumbers and garlic. You ever try that? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Benefits of cucumbers taste like garlic. That's what I try and do is put a lot of garlic on my stuff.
Yeah, that's nice. Ann must love that.
Yeah. A lot of teeth brushing after dinner,
Yeah.
Now I would say, what is your favorite? You're maybe not bringing it, but what's your favorite food at a potluck? Because I got mine in my head.
So I'm a desserts guy. I will get after the scotcheroos. I'll get after, special K bars, whatever. I don't know where you fall on that argument. I forget.
I'm a scotcheroo guy.
Okay, that's right. And also dream bars, and they got the cookies there. And someone once brought a bunch of pre-made s'mores to a potluck, custom primo s'mores. Now they weren't warm, which kind of defeats the purpose, but they made cookies, it all stuck together. I don't know how they did. They must have put a little that spray glue on it to get it to stick good, and it was tasty. What's yours?
I would say I like a crock pot full of meatballs, and what kind of sauce? The same sauce goes on the little weenies.
Yeah.
What is that sauce?
Yeah, it's not cocktail. It's cocktail sauce. It's the same sauce they put on shrimp.
It's like
right?
barbecue.
It's like barbecue cocktail sauce.
Barbecue cocktail mixture. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever it is, I love it.
You know what?
I love it when they give you toothpicks to get them out of there too.
I kind of want to change my answer to that. That's how much I like that answer. I kind of forgot about that sauce until you just brought it up, which means I have not been to a proper potluck in a long time, maybe months. So anyway, I'm glad that we had that, Miles. I'm glad this is why I like just getting together with you, is I think about things I haven't thought about in a while.
That's good, Charlie. Well, that being said, should we have an audio potluck with some callers?
I would love that. I'll bring the beer.
And I'll bring the questions.
I love it.
Let's take some callers.
Welcome to the Bellied Up Podcast. Who do we have the pleasure of chit-chatting with today?
Hi, this is Janie.
Hi, Janie.
Sorry, I was just, my kids are home for school for snow day. I was making them lunch.
Oh, what'd you make
I'm
them?
going to run away for a second.
Jamaican.
We were having snacks for lunch, everyone's favorite. Got some beef sticks, some cheese,
A little
some apple slices.
yeah, a little kid charcuterie board is what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's like a DIY Lunchable.
Nah.
I like it.
So elevated.
That's great.
Well, why don't you belly up to the bar with us? Tell us what's on your mind, Janie.
All right. So I was calling because God bless him, love my husband. But we have been having some problems discussing whether or not he is a good driver. And he is very particular and feels like he's doing everything by the book, like very textbook, like would pass the DMV test every time. But so that kind of makes him feel like he's better than everybody else. And so every time we're in the car, he's always making these kind of offhanded comments about, oh, these drivers, the drivers in Sioux Falls are terrible, and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not really sure how to talk to him about it without losing his ego or, making it kind of an issue. So I just kind of wanted to get your guys' opinions about how to broach the subject.
Well, we all know a guy like this.
Yeah, you are not alone.
Yeah. What should we call these guys? Is there a name we can call these guys, Miles? We'll find it if we don't have it.
We'll find it along the way.
Miles, set this up. Lay the groundwork for this.
Okay. So your husband thinks he's a great driver, thinks everyone else is a bad driver. What about what he does when he's driving that you think is annoying / what you think a lot of these guys are doing?
So, and he does, there is some merit to some of the stuff that he gets frustrated about. I don't know why, and specifically in Sioux Falls, there's a lot of left-hand drivers. It seems like everybody likes to really just go the exact speed limit in the left-hand lane. So that'll be a good situation where he'll just zoom up really, almost, he won't tailgate. He'll get real close, just outside of tailgating, and then whip around them really fast, and then get right back in front of them. And not necessarily cut him off, but pretty much cut him off.
Does he tap on the brakes just a scotch? Does he zoom in, zoom?
He has definitely done that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you said that he thinks he could pass the DMV test every single time. I don't think the DMV wants you zooming up and zooming around people all the time.
I will agree with you on that.
Okay, so he's...
another thing is the left-hand drivers and the lack of zipper merging in Sioux Falls is probably our biggest hot point. In the summertime when there's lots of construction down to the single lane, nobody here zipper merges. So everybody's getting over super early, and so he'll go to the end, or to the merge point, and then just get over it. And that also does upset local folk here.
Yes. So I'll explain what's going on. Do you know what zipper merging is, Charlie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I lived in L.A. for a little bit. That's the only way you were going to get off the 405.
So for those who don't know what zipper merging is, basically You are supposed to stay in 2 lanes as long as you possibly can, and then at the last moment, you go every other car, and basically one after another merges. That is not how the world works. I hate to say it. I know that is the way that it's supposed to be, but would not be very Midwest of drivers to be basically going all the way to the front of the line instead of getting in line. Do you know what I'm saying, Charlie?
Exactly. A Midwesterner is going to want to move over, even though it may take them longer, even though it may slow down the flow of traffic. There is this anxiety of not wanting to upset anyone when you get to, because you're getting close to the point of no return at the split of that exit. And then if you get there, that's so much anxiety, you might have to be very rude to somebody and cut somebody off at the end. That's enough anxiety to get people merging over way earlier than they should.
Yeah, you want to cut someone off way before you need to, so that they don't get offended.
Exactly. Now, the way your husband is doing it is he is just bolting down there, and then at the last possible moment, he's like, "Oh, they're moving." Let me guess, he's got a big truck?
We have an Expedition. It's older.
Yeah.
And then we also we both work from home, so we share. We just run a rotate. We have the going around town car and then the road trip hauler. So the Expedition is more of the road tripper. So a lot of this stuff does happen on the road trips because, if it's 14 hours or less, we're driving. So what are
some of the stuff that he says about other drivers?
That they don't know what they're doing, that they're dumb, that they're just terrible drivers is usually what we say, to the point where my 6-year-old son has picked up on this, and he'll be in the back seat when it's just me and him driving, like when I'm picking him up from school, and we'll get to a stoplight or something, and my son in the back seat will just go, "Oh, these Sioux Falls drivers, they're just terrible. They're just the worst." I'm like, "Oh, why aren't they going if they need to turn?" I'm like, "Because it's a red light, buddy. There's nowhere we can go."
Okay.
So,
I think I found where you're in here to change your husband's habits, because I have a feeling that, you just telling him what to do on this is going to probably open up a can of worms in the marriage. And it's, may not be the most effective, may not be the quickest way. But if you say that we have to do this for our son, maybe that's a different avenue. Does your husband ever swear when he is driving?
Oh, he's pretty good about not. We actually, kind of a small funny story is one of our many road trips. He was trying not to swear, and it was, one of those situations. The person in front of him was going too slow, or maybe someone in front of him cut him off to a certain point, and instead of swearing, he said, "Holy bucket!" And my son thought that, he was 3 or 4 at the time, thought that was very funny, and started to. But instead of saying "holy buckets," my son started saying something that rhymed with it.
Holy fuckets?
On repeat.
Is that what he said?
He said, yeah, that's exactly what he said. And it was in this little 3 or 4-year-old voice. And he was like, "Holy buckets." So even our best attempts at not swearing have maybe not always gone as planned. But he does tend to keep it PG, so that's good.
I mean, I was going to say use your son as a reason for him to chill out, what's your son's name?
No, he's proud that his son talks
I know.
That's not going to work.
Well, I know it's not going to work, but it's almost like you're saying it's transcending into other areas. Like
it might also be part of his DNA that he passed on. It might be some of that.
Yeah, as the mom and the wife, that's kind of where I'm seeing where it's, maybe that's some of the advice I wanted to get from you guys is, not necessarily, maybe you can't change old habits, but maybe preventing new ones from forming.
Now, I do have one suggestion to maybe help with your husband's attitude. He thinks that he's the best driver, but it sounds like he's not always following the rules of the road. He's following the rules that he thinks should be on the road. And what you could do is you could, every time you're riding in the car with him, you're going to need a clipboard, you're going to need a piece of paper, and you're going to need a pen. And every single time he violates one of the rules of the road that he thinks isn't that big of a deal, you mark him down. And then after about a month of doing this, you're going to have a whole list of evidence of why maybe he should knock himself down a notch because he's not the best driver out there.
Oh, I like that idea. Maybe I can get my son on board with this. He likes to help out, make lists.
Oh yeah. Yep. Teach him arithmetic, adding up all of the violations, stuff like that. It's now a family exercise.
I like that idea, Miles. Can I ask you, Jamie, is your husband a tall man?
I would say he's average height.
How tall?
60.
How tall is he?
But I would say 6 feet.
See, he's 6 foot. So you know what you can say whenever he's like getting mad at the road, you can kind of turn it on him a little bit. Like, you're acting like a guy who's 5'11" right now.
Oh, that would definitely get under his skin.
He's got a little. Whenever you get mad at another driver consistently, you got a scotch of a Napoleon complex you're dealing with. You think you're better than everyone. You're unleashing some stress from your life where you can't be the bigger person, and you put it in the comfort of your own car where you can be the biggest guy in the room. So just say, you're acting like a guy who's 5'10" right now, and then keep lowering the height. And no offense to anyone who's 5'10", but your husband will be offended.
You know what I like to do?
What's that?
Is if someone, because there's nothing more uncomfortable than being a passenger with someone with road rage, right? It's kind of like God, I don't think that's that big of a deal. It's kind of in your head. But then when you have road rage, you feel totally justified. And I think a good thing you could try out is, let's say someone in his mind cut him off. Let's just say what you need to present to him is go, yeah, they're probably having a rough day. Their grandma probably died. And then he's going to instantly be like, well, I can't get mad at someone who's possibly had their grandma died, or they just got fired from their job they worked at for 20 years. They're just maybe having a bad day.
And I think that's another great one. Now, if your husband takes the opposite response than what Miles think, like if you're like, oh, your grandma might have died, and your husband goes, well, good, because if she wasn't, I'd kill her myself. If he does that, what you then have to do is a mirroring exercise. You want to mirror him. So you want to be twice as loud as him in the deal. He's going to think you're basically going to show him how ridiculous he sounds. And then you're going to have him telling you to chill out. So almost if you get twice as mad as him, or frankly, just as mad at him, he'll see how freaking annoying it is. Because when you're mad, you're not thinking about that. But when someone else is mad, it's annoying as hell.
Yeah, I think that's a great, if all this fails, you need to be the one with more road rage more often to get him to realize it. Right, Charlie?
What we want is your husband calling this podcast saying, my wife, Jamie, she just won't chill out in the passenger seat. It's driving me nuts. What do we do? And then we'll tell him the exact same advice. And you guys just keep calling in until there's no roof left on your car. You got a convertible because you've blown your top so many times.
I mean, I have been looking at an Audi TT, so this is a good strategy.
Okay.
Get a little summer
Your husband's going to be pissed at us for suggesting to buy this convertible.
He's the one who wants it. I'm the one of reason over here.
Do you think you got it in you to lose your mind a few times over the minor inconveniences?
I do have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, so I am pretty good at holding all of that in. So I can just let it maybe build.
Yes.
And instead of letting it out on the children, I could let it out on the road rage.
I want you
This could be like cheap therapy for me, too.
Yes. Yeah. I want you to channel every time those kids write with crayons on the wall. I want you to think about every single time they spilled their milk on the ground. I want you to think about all those times you wanted to pull your hair out and let it out on the road.
Every single time they took a number 2 and left it on the seat. Every single time. And here's what we can do right now. We can do a little
exercise.
We can. Yeah. So you want to give this a go? Are you in a safe space? Are you in a closet within a room?
I am in my office.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So I'm your husband right now, and you are in the passenger seat.
And I'm the other car.
All right.
All right. We are at a 4-way stop.
All right. Come on. Go. Go. The hell are you doing? Go. You know what? I'll go. This guy's just an idiot.
Now,
you know?
now I'm going.
Oh,
Now I
now
stopped.
he's going. Oh, for God's sake. You know, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Honestly, what's going on with these guys?
Just stop right now. I mean, I can't even believe it. Why didn't they go? I just don't even
Right?
understand. Can
Yeah.
you even handle this? I can't handle this right now. Roll the window down. I'm reaching over. I'm honking the horn.
Okay, you know, hon. Actually, he probably just didn't mean to do that. You know, I mean, he looks like he's a slower guy. He's in an old Buick, so maybe
His wife just died.
Well,
yeah,
he shouldn't
maybe
be driving.
maybe
Get him
his
off the road.
honey, maybe his wife just died. We should give him the benefit of the doubt. You know,
That was actually pretty
Send
good.
her some flowers.
Yeah. Oh, she's still going.
you're good at that.
Yeah. I think that you got your
Man.
answer right here, right now.
Yeah.
You got to double his energy.
All right, all right. You know, I was really just kind of probably channeling some of the things that I've heard before.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just on the hard drive.
Well, how did that feel, by the way?
My heart rate's up. Honestly, it was a little stressful. I'm a very passive person, but part of it did feel a little good.
Okay.
Maybe because it's not real.
Well, I think that that's good. I mean, you're so good. You could be an actress. You know, I can tell you got that in you.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed my calling.
Hey, maybe you still find it.
And Charlie, maybe we missed our calling on being therapists.
Maybe we
I
did.
think
Miles.
we just made her feel better. And I think that she dealt with some inner demons there in that moment.
Yeah, I felt one come out. You know, and that's good. Get them demons out. Ah.
Well, what do you
Yeah,
think? You
I don't know if that was
gonna
off the
try
road
that
rage.
approach?
You guys gave me a lot of really good options. I think I will probably start with the maybe the list making on the side and get my son involved. So then maybe we'll do more of like an intervention. And if that doesn't work, then I know I've got a solid backup plan with just letting the rage out.
All right. If you let that rage out, you got to film it the first time you do it and send it to us. I would pay so much money to see that.
Yeah. What the buckets is going on?
All right.
Have your son film it in the
You
back
can hold
seat.
me to that. There we go.
All right.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah. Thanks
Jamie.
for calling
And,
in.
Hopefully if you're in Sioux Falls, you won't get cut off.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely not going to cut off any explorers. Or was it expedition?
No, expedition.
Expedition. Same church, different car.
Cool. Well, thank you for calling in and watch for deer. Tell your husband to watch for him too. You know, the last thing you want to do is swearing at a deer.
Will do. Thanks, guys.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Well, Miles, we found it in there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was tough for me not to reveal I am somewhat of that husband at times.
Why didn't you reveal that?
Because then she would, start yelling at me. And,
What,
now this was an eye-opening experience for me. Thinking of
Yeah.
how ridiculous I sound
yeah.
and all of that. So
I mean, I know it's tough for a guy like you. I mean, you're 5'11". You wanted to be 6 foot your whole life, and it's just tough to.
I don't know what you're talking about. Should we take another caller?
do it. Welcome to the Bellied Up Podcast. Who are we chit-chatting with today?
Oh my lord, I'm the line. My name's Paolo. You can call me Pao though. How you doing?
Doing good, pal. Doing good, my guy.
Big fan.
Oh, hey.
Big fan. Where are you today?
Well, we're at the VFW in downtown Fargo. If you want to stop by, where are you at?
Well, I'm calling you from Washington, the state, the other Washington.
Oh, Washington State. Well, I don't think you're going to make it over here today. Too far of a drive.
Yeah.
But why don't you?
Well, I'm ashamed to admit it to you boys, but I actually am a Midwesterner. You're not gonna like it. I'm from Chicago.
Pal, I'm surprised you're admitting that to us on this podcast, but we'll let it slide.
It's okay.
We'll let it slide. Why don't you belly up
I
to
have pride in where I'm from, you know.
Yeah, you can't help where you're from, but pal, why don't you belly up to the bar and let us know what's on your mind?
Yeah, okay. Well, nice to be up at the bar with you boys. Yeah, I got this new job like 3 months ago. That's what brought me out to Washington. And yeah, I have 5 employees. I've never been a boss before. I've never had a single employee, and I'm looking for some tips on how to navigate that experience. Don't want to come off as a hard ass, but also don't want to get walked all over, and you know, don't know even if it's appropriate to have a beer with some of them afterwards. Some of them are pretty young.
That's a tough one. And you're talking to both Miles and I, and Miles is a better boss than I am, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that depends on who you ask, you know. If you ask me, absolutely. If you ask my employees, I don't know if they'd say the same.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. I've had a hard time with figuring that whole situation out. Because, yeah, you want to be the good guy. You want to be a fun guy. But at the end of the day, you know, that's just multiple funguses. And I don't know where to go from there.
So my first question for you is what is your current approach? How are you currently approaching it?
Well, I'm pretty hands off. So the thing is, it's kind of a unique job in that I have a bunch of bosses of my own, basically. But the main goal, since it's a youth-oriented job, is that people don't quit. It's a job training program, so I kind of, if they don't want to learn that day, then I don't really push them too hard to do it, because we work outside and it's pretty darn cold right now, and if they're like feeling lazy, the last thing they need is someone chirping at them. So I'm pretty hands off, and like for some of them that works most of the time.
Oh, you're saying it works most of the time?
For some of them, I mean, I think we're at like a level, but I feel like I'm not giving them what they need to get even better, because it is job training, and you know, I want to inspire them to like want to work harder, but you know, no one really cares if they do work harder or not, because we're a job training program.
Yeah, so it sounds like the problem is you are leaning more on the side of trying to be buddies with them, and they're not getting a lot of shit done.
Sometimes that's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
His explicit goal is that they don't quit. So I'm still confused.
Yeah.
You're a job training program. I don't get this. Do you get exactly what they do?
So,
No.
Yeah, it's a little convoluted. It's a little complicated. So we're with AmeriCorps. So they're conservation. We're a conservation corps. So I'm beholden first and foremost to my government department, but then we contract with another government department. So they're just on for like 11 months of national service. Me, I'm the permanent. So whatever shit always rolls on my, it always goes uphill in this case. So it always lands on me. But for them, we just got to get them through 11 months to be compliant with their grant.
Okay, but
I'm gonna be honest. I'm more confused now than I was before.
Yeah. I mean, why do you care if they quit? Like, what? It sounds like the only person motivated for them to not quit is you. And I mean, they don't get paid a lot in AmeriCorps, right? It's a stipend or something.
Right. Yeah. They do okay, but it's not better than they'd get paid at a restaurant or somewhere where they'd work a lot less. But we're supposed to give out like a certain amount of scholarships at the end of the year. So it's a reflection on me, essentially, if we can't get them over the finish line, even though, you know, people got whatever they have going on and they quit for whatever reason. But yeah, my success is measured in people I get over that finish line.
Well, that's pretty ass backwards, you know?
So I think to kind of go back to your question here, I think the first thing I'd say is you're not their friends, you're their boss. And you can hang out with them on the job site when you have them doing their job correctly, is what I would say. Kind of, I think you need to be more of a hard ass.
Yeah.
All right. What are some hard ass tips, Miles? You sound like you got experience doing that.
You need to not give them any direction and then get mad when they do it wrong.
Okay, so that one I'm actually pretty good at, you know?
I
I don't know what the hell I'm doing either.
Yeah, I gathered that because after you explained what you do, I was more confused. So you already got that box checked.
And I think if they ever complain about anything or ask you something, you know, this is a government deal. So I think you should just tell them, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And just keep repeating that.
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you the biggest headache. I kind of love it, to be honest, but I don't know what the hell they're talking. You know, someone on my crew is like, I've got people who are teenagers working under me, and I have no idea what they're talking about. 90% of the time. So I think dropping platitudes like that is probably my best move.
Yeah, I think using the term punk a lot with the teenagers. You know, you think you're some hot punk over there when I need you to be doing this instead.
Now, hang on. I want to back it up just a little bit. Did you ever see The Dark Knight? I promise this is going. So the beginning of Dark Knight, right, is the Joker has this whole crew robbing this bank. And as soon as someone finishes their job, they kill the guy. And it gets all the way down till it's just the Joker at the top of it. So you are in this deal where they are giving you the directive. You need to not let anyone quit. My question is, does your boss have the same directive? And should you be threatening your boss that you're going to quit and tell him that I got to keep these people happy. So then you can have your boss working for you. Because if you quit, your boss is going to get the axe.
Yeah, if only it were, because my boss, their employees are, you know, folks relying on an income that, you know, like I could have this job for the rest of my life if I wanted to. So I kind of gotta kiss butt up the ladder, but it's a lot of learning the right way to ask for things.
So what are you worried about? If they're not going to fire you, what are you worried about? Why do you care what happens?
Well, I'm probationary employee still for another several months. So if I lose folks, I might get fired. You know, they can for the next 6 months without bringing in the union, they can just say adios, you know, thanks for the memories.
Okay, so there you go. You got 6 months of purgatory where you're going to kind of need to figure it out, and then you don't do anything.
Yeah, for the next 6 months, just tell your people to like show up if they wanna, and they won't get fired. And then what? I mean, there's nothing they need to do, right?
That's true. I mean, they're expected to build trails for 10 hours a day, but you know, if they don't, then I guess who cares?
There we go.
I guess that's
now you're starting to sound like a government employee.
Yeah.
You know, now you're starting to get it.
What's confusing us is there's no actual incentive here for anyone to actually work aside for the goodwill of it all. And so, you know, and people who join AmeriCorps are doing it because they're like, you know, they want to do some good. So I would say let them do some good. And if they don't, who cares? There's no incentive anyway. So congratulations, man. You win.
I mean, I think you unlocked the cheat code. I think you did it.
Yeah. Care less. That's our advice to you.
Yeah, you need to do less, honestly.
And that is why
enough.
the DMV
I wish someone told me that years ago.
I know.
Hey, you know, they get the job done, all right?
Hey,
it takes them a couple of years.
Now, you just want to make sure that everything you're telling us is true, because you don't want to have somewhere in the fine print that you need to have like 100 miles of trail bushwhacked and you're looking at just a big old forest with a month left, you know? That's going to be a lot of blisters.
Well, I got to report it.
Yeah, I would just say if
I got to report it on the weekly.
How much trail are you supposed to cut?
So that we say it's quality over quantity. I don't know if everyone agrees, but I mean, we got about last week. We got about 15 feet, but you know, it was all rock. So when you're moving rocks, it's kind of, you know, you're moving in inches.
This is great. So there is no metric, Charlie. So you, in your reports, you need to start listing things like we ran into a bear. We had to halt operations.
That's true. You're in the wild, my guy. Anything can happen.
We were expecting lighter rocks, and we experienced heavier rocks, so that took a lot longer.
Also, did you say last week 15 feet? How many people do you have on your team and how many hours? I just want to pull out my little calculator here just to give you some
all right,
metrics.
it was a little more than 15 feet.
Oh, how much? How little more?
I think we did 80.
80 foot?
We had two structures. It was 80 new feet, and it was two structures, and then we shut down some spots too because we're making a reroute.
You're doing it perfectly, man. We're acting like your bosses right now, and you are inventing things that you found when you realized I'm sniffing through your BS.
Yeah, keep talking about structures.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing good, man. You just keep the lies going on your end and then just keep the people from quitting for 6 months on their end. And, you know, by the end of 6 months, the 20 of you or how many ever on your team, you guys should have at least like 120 feet of trail and quality trail. Quality trail. Yeah.
Yeah. One good foot is worth a good mile, huh?
Yeah. Hey.
Sure.
The road
sounds good. Keep saying stuff like that to your bosses.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also start blaming a lot of stuff on machinery. I don't know what kind of machinery you guys are working with, but machines are always breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can always be like, you know, to make it look like you're really trying to do more, say, we need a new chainsaw. Yeah, my guys have been battling that. It breaks down every other day. And then when they get you a new chainsaw, then you switch to a different piece of machinery. And then basically by the end, because you guys aren't doing anything, you're just going to have a bunch of new tools that you don't use. And you can flip that on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist.
1,000%. Get a little side hustle.
I like it. We're talking retirement plan here.
Yeah.
Ask not what you can do for your country. Ask how you can screw them out of their money.
Also, here's the other thing. Are your bosses coming out to check the progress of these trails?
I'm going to say, yeah, no.
Well, it depends. You know, my like actual boss will come out, you know, maybe once every 2 months, but the agency that contracts us, I see them all the freaking time.
Oh,
they're out there at least once a week.
So yeah, if they show up, you're just going to need to look busy. You aren't going to be doing anything. Lots of walking back and forth, frowning. I've said that on this podcast.
Right.
You need to frown a lot. You know, if you actually tell your guys you're going to blow up on them when that agency comes by, if you get mad at one of your employees and blow up on them, they're going to know that you're trying hard. People who don't care, they don't get mad. You know, so if you're getting mad, they're like, God, he's really pushing these guys. You know, it's amazing it's actually amazing that they were able to get 80 feet done in a week.
Yeah, they'll be impressed with your lack of progress.
So I'm going to be honest. I want to put it in perspective a little bit. How little 80 feet is. That's not even one full basketball court.
It's not?
No. A basketball court is 94 feet, I
How
believe.
do you know that?
Because I played basketball.
Oh, you're a...
Well, the coach would always be like, we got to cover all 94 feet. You know?
That's good, yeah.
So you guys haven't even done a basketball court worth of trail work in a week. And I respect that.
Well, you know,
that's like hard. I feel like that's hard to do. I don't know a ton about building trails, but I feel like it's hard to do that little amount in that long a time.
Come on, Miles, you're killing me.
And you said it's cold out?
We bust our asses out there, all right?
You're in Washington and it's cold out?
Well, you know, it's all relative. It's what they're complaining about anyways, but it's wet. It's just, you know, you're sitting there getting pissed on for 10 hours a day. It's demoralized. You know, wet socks is not fun, but it's not like, you know, it's not freezing. It was why we were staying outside for the whole the whole 10 hours, but it's wet.
I got a solution for that. Okay. So this is a Midwest secret here. What you're going to want to do is start saving your bread bags. And bring some duct tape. And this is a little morale booster for the team. You say, hey, team, I know you guys been dealing with wet feet. No one likes soggy toes. So these bread bags, I'm going to put them on each of your feet, and I'm going to duct tape them around your socks. You are going to have some dry, probably some really sweaty feet, but they'll be dry.
Well, they won't if they're sweaty.
Well, you get the sweat wicking socks.
Yeah.
Get yourself some marine wool socks. Have the government pay for that, since they're clearly not. They don't care. So,
and the other thing is you do that with the guys to keep them happy, and then your bosses, you tell them you're dealing with bad cases of trench foot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got 3 guys down this week. We could have got another 80 feet, but we only got 40 this week because I got 3 guys down with trench foot.
And then tell them how bad that is. Say that's not even half a basketball court.
Google the worst case of trench foot ever and show it to them and say that's the guy. That's what the guy.
Yeah, just wash out the watermark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getty Images.
That's the plan, Miles. I like this plan.
Yeah, it's
we'll get at least we'll raise our bread bag budget by showing that off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not about being a better boss. It's about appearing like you're a better boss, and that's all that matters, especially in the work you're doing.
Fair enough. I appreciate it. Hey, just wanted to throw out there. I just touched a forklift for the first time in my life, and apparently I am now forklift certified as far as my government's concerned.
Yes,
congratulations.
You are. Yes, you are.
Now, I don't know why you're using a forklift out in the woods, but
I'm very confused at what you do for a living.
I don't know why I am either. I just got an email one day saying you're getting forklift certified next week. I showed up for 2 hours, and I used the forklift for the first time, and they're like, congratulations. Yesterday they asked for my personnel ID number to put me in the official database.
We're very proud of you here.
I'm glad the guy who's working in the woods all day is now forklift certified. That's money. That's government money well spent.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
Is. Well, we're looking forward to paying taxes soon here, so we're going to be funding that certification process. We like to think anyway.
Well, man, we appreciate you calling in. I think you already got it figured out. So
yeah, just look angry all the time and bring bread bags. I like it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in, man. Good luck on the next 80 feet.
Tell your folks this says hi.
Watch for bears out there.
Yeah, you watch for deer.
I will.
Bye-bye.
Miles. Really?
And then I think there's a lot of workplaces that take that mentality. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, 1,000%.
I'm just trying not to get fired.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that sounds honestly like some fun work. They're just outside all the time, you know?
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Cutting trails.
Yeah, they show up. Well, you guys feel like maybe hacking down a couple trees today? They're like, yeah. And they're like, all right, we'll do 1 tree before lunch and we'll do 1 tree after lunch. And then we'll call her a day.
You know, actually, when you bring trees into the mix, that can be a process, you know? So, and that's what we should have told them to say, it's a process.
That's what we should have said. You're right. Well, should we take another caller?
Yeah, let's do it. Folks, Nicolay Law Offices, that is your Midwest lawyer, okay? If you've been injured or hurt in some sort of car accident or something like that, call Nicolay. These are guys who get you. They're guys who are, when they pick up the phone, they're probably wearing the same thing you are, all right? They're from the North Woods. You can see it right there in the billboard and in the sunglasses that Russell's wearing. It's just a bunch of trees.
And they're going to shoot you straight, too, Charlie. They're going to give you all that lawyer jargon and make you more confused by talking to your lawyer. I've had that happen before. Not with these guys.
No, they're doing you good. So give them a call, 1-855-Nicolay.
The T is silent.
Yeah, it is.
It's not.
It's Nicolet. Nicolette. If you want the phonetic.
And if you forget the number, you can find it on any billboard across North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Welcome to the Bellied Up Podcast. Who are we talking to?
Good afternoon, guys. It's Carlene.
Carlene, what's going on today?
Oh, nothing much. We talked back in February about the whole getting parents off your back about babies. So I thought I'd give you an update.
Okay.
Wait, is this the Carlene who called in who saw her folks doing the nasty on the balcony?
Oh, yeah. You remember.
Oh, we remember.
How could we
All right.
forget?
How could we forget?
My sister says hi, by the
Right?
way.
Well, hello to the sister, to the whole fam bam.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here we go. Let's remind the listeners. Let us know what we talked about last time, and let's get into your update.
Okay. So last time when we talked, I was getting irritated that the parents, friends, families were always like, oh, why don't you have kids? Because I'm now 38, still single, no kids. And it's a constant. No matter where you go, everyone's like, why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? And so I was asking for help of how to get the parents off the back of wanting to have kids. So literally a month after the call, found out that my brother and sister-in-law were pregnant. So they finally had a baby in November.
Congratulations.
So that's where we are right now. Yeah.
So that doesn't help your cause at all.
Well, actually it did. So now since I've been home and since all the attention is on the baby, I've gotten nothing. It's been awesome.
Has there been
So no one's like,
has there been snarky comments like, well, at least someone had a kid, I guess. I guess we got to give up on the other one.
You know what? Probably close. Like at least now we're finally grandparents or, friends of the family be like, oh, congratulations, you finally made it as grandparents. But I was like, honestly, as long as they're not on my back, I don't mind those as much. But there's definitely some comments once in a while.
Well, this all sounds like a big win. I mean, do you have any problems with this? Are there any issues?
Well, now I don't get any Christmas presents.
Yeah, you're
So now
38.
everything goes to the
You're 38.
everything goes to the grandkid.
You're 38.
Yeah, you don't need the Christmas presents.
The only Christmas present you should be getting at 38 is either from your kids or your husband.
Way to turn that one around. I know. Dang.
Now I sound like her parents.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm starting to get on the parent side here. A lot of present talk out of you, but not a lot of baby talk.
That was the only negative I can think of.
Okay. Well, here's
that
another.
I could come up with.
Yeah, here's another question for you. Is there any movement on the finding a significant other or on the baby front?
Oh, good question. So I'm back out in California because before when we talked, I was in Florida, living in North Carolina. So I'm settled out here and went back out on the dating apps and all that. So I've been on 5 dates within the last month.
Congratulations.
So definitely trial and error, thank you. But none of them have really panned out.
Has there been any practicing for children going on? Do you have a baby on the way you'd like to announce now?
No, I do not have a baby on the way.
That you know
Thank
of,
God. Not yet. That I know of.
So you're just out
So
there.
no, all has been good.
How's dating in California?
I feel like it's the same everywhere. It's just trying to get people off the phone or apps and just meeting in person. And I feel like people just want to do the same old, hey, how are you doing? Or ghosting. And it takes forever to get someone to meet, face to face. But I don't know. I'm guessing it was the holidays. People are feeling lonely and people wanted to meet face to face. So maybe that's why there were so many meetups.
And now that it's
I'm not sure.
Now that it's January when we record this, they're like, I got to get off the dating apps as my New Year's resolution. Don't worry, they'll be back. Yeah. Give it a couple weeks.
Yeah, they'll get bored. You think that's what it is? Why they're just messaging is just people are bored at work and they're like, I'll throw a few messages here. Is that it?
Maybe. I honestly don't know. It's difficult modern dating, and that's all I know. It's hard to like meet people in real life. You know, like just out in public, no one really like approaches each other.
Okay. Tell us, what is the toughest part about dating in the modern day?
I would say if you're on the app, getting someone to meet in person, because I feel like you find out a lot about the person when you're face to face. You can't hide behind a phone, or like, you know, you can find out a tone about someone. So I think that's the hardest thing. The second hardest thing is if you feel like you're having a connection and then you just get ghosted or someone just drops off and you're like, what just happened? So I would say those two things are the hardest. And then trying to like get back out there being like, okay, forget about that. Let's move on to the next one.
When you're actually on the date, what are your three top? I can't talk.
Whoa,
I can't
Charlie's
talk.
having a stroke.
I'm sorry. Excuse
we
me.
need to
Mine
call
are
a doctor?
I'm just rebooting my brain. Got the little circle
Here,
of death
take a
going.
drink of that beer.
All right, little beer. Hang on.
Oh, now he's level.
What are your top
There
three?
we go.
What are your top 3 pet peeves when you're out on a first date?
Oh, I think when someone just talks about themselves and doesn't ask questions, when it's always like one-sided, that's probably one. I don't know. I don't really have that many, I guess. But that's definitely number one. Is like trying to get a conversation going. And if someone's just like always talking about themselves, you're like, well, you got any questions for me?
Do you have an irrational red flag? So we had a guy call in and said that armpit hair on a girl is a big no-go for him. Do you have an irrational red flag that's kind of not very common, but when you see it, you run the other way?
I would say I guess one of the most annoying things that I get is, well, why are you single? I feel like you'd be taken a long time ago. It's kind of like a insult in a way too. So when people repeatedly say that, you're like, okay.
Yeah, that is just mean. But for scientific purposes, why are you still single? This is strictly for data.
Well, I could go with the answer. For data, I just don't settle just to like have a relationship. Like you got to really connect with someone. So I'm not just going to go with someone just because it's convenient.
Yeah, what's the point of that?
Or, just because everyone else puts pressure on you or whatnot. But I went on 2 dates with one guy, and after the second date, he asked to be exclusive right away, and that kind of threw me off. I was like, no.
How many dates? Well,
that's quick, isn't it?
How many? Well, that's a good question. How many dates is appropriate to go on with somebody before you can even have the conversation of being exclusive?
You know, I would give it more, not even the amount of dates, but just like at least a month or two, because you could have 2 dates within a week or within 2 weeks. But just like, you know, talking to someone and going on dates, and like maybe a month or two might be more appropriate. But this one was this was 12 days.
You are 38 though. So at 38
I know,
years
I should
old,
probably just screw it, huh?
At 38 years old, 1 week is like 3 months for a 21-year-old, in my opinion.
Okay. I'm checking this math.
Okay. So you're starting to okay. That's good. Charlie, do you agree? You're almost 38.
First of all, Miles, I'm 36. Second of all, time does move faster as you get older. So that is an interesting philosophy there. I really don't know. It's kind of a weird, I mean, I agree with you. It's kind of this weird connection issue. You got a connection, you don't. Why you just, how old was the guy who asked you to whatever after 12 days, to ask you to be exclusive after 12 days? How old was he?
That's a great question, because I was just going to say he was 29.
Mm-hmm. That might make sense. So, he fell hard for you.
Well, I think you need to realize that his parents are on him about having kids, and he knows that you're 38 years old. He's like, I gotta lock this up pretty quick. I know I'm young, but there's only so many years left. So maybe that was his approach.
Maybe, but also he can't have kids. So that was a conversation that came up really early that he brought on. So he made it clear just because knowing our age difference.
Hey.
So now what do you do about that?
Hey, that's actually, I think, your perfect guy.
Yeah. That ends
That
all the
ends
questions.
every question, every conversation about it with your parents. He can't have kids. And then they're going to be like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess that's the end of that. What do you think of that idea?
Yeah. Well, if there was more dating, I probably would have went on with it, but it didn't end so good. So we don't talk anymore.
Oh, did you ghost him?
I did not.
You just said you're freaking me out.
we
You're
just
moving
had a-
too fast.
Yeah, I said, what's the rush on this to be exclusive? Because he's leaving in April anyway to travel for 3 months. And I was like, then why are you even on the dating app or whatever? But that's fine, open dating. And essentially wanted to be exclusive and then call it quits by the time he went overseas. And I was like, nah, I'm good. So I was just really truthful. Like, I'll move on.
Yeah,
Very
that's
strange.
that. You were right to
Right?
get that one going. What if you're on a first date with someone and they put their phone right on the table, face up? Is that a red flag?
For me, the phone on the table doesn't bother me. It's if you like constantly look at it or pick it up. Like, I prefer no phones around at all, but it doesn't bother me if it's on the table.
Yeah.
Okay. All
But
right.
no, it's not a red flag.
All right. Just curious.
All right. One last update question. How many times
Okay.
since February have you seen your parents doing it?
None. So that just that one time.
Nothing?
Back in
Not
high
even like
school.
maybe a little action underneath the table at Thanksgiving? Nothing?
There was nothing at Thanksgiving. Everything was kosher. Everyone was well behaved.
Okay. That's
So
good.
no, zero.
How often do you, as a family, talk about the time you saw your folks doing it on the porch?
Not as much. I think if my brother and I get together, we're like, hey, remember that one time? And that's about it.
Remember
But
that?
that's like rare. Now that yeah.
Yeah. Now that your
So
brothers,
not very much anymore.
Yeah, that one night, that beautiful full moon night. Well,
Yep.
it's just good, and you got no.
Go to a bar. Stop
Go to a bar?
Stop with the apps. Go meet someone in person. You said the hardest part about meeting people on the apps is seeing them in person. Skip that whole part altogether and go meet someone in person.
Laying the hammer down.
I've been
Miles.
out quite a. Yeah, but Miles, I've been out and about, and I actually do approach, and I don't know if that's the thing that's the turnoff, but I try on my end. So, but then I don't get approached. So I've definitely been out and about.
You don't get approached. Are you going to bars and sitting alone at the actual counter?
I have, like, especially when I was traveling so much for work, I would have to go out to eat and everything by myself. So that was like 12 years of doing that.
Okay, so what is your demeanor when you're out and about?
I mean, I'm just sitting at the bar, talking with the bartender and anyone like that's around me as I'm like eating and having a drink or two. So I feel like it's pretty open and approachable, and there's
See-
no one around. Like, there's usually spaces open.
That's the problem. This is going to be very counterintuitive, and I would not tell many other people, but you're 38 and we got to figure this out quick. And so we're going to try every single option out there. I want you to take the opposite approach. I want you to become unapproachable. Nothing like a good challenge gets a guy more horned up than someone who seems like they don't want to talk to you.
I hate to say it, but Miles is right.
Okay.
I want you to look. Yeah, and even if you can look even a little upset, maybe distressed, nothing like a damsel in distress that gets a guy going more than that. So be a little standoffish.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, seem a little distressed. Act like you don't have the time of day for guys, and honestly, that might work out.
You know, Miles, I'm thinking about this. We have so many singles calling in this podcast looking for ways to attract other Midwest folks, and we have people calling in to buy, sell, and trade stuff. I think we should create an app or a meetup, for Midwest buy, sell, trade, and date.
Yeah. Every time we do a recording, we have a social mixer going on in the background.
That would be good.
It's for single bellied up
There you
listeners
go.
to meet each other.
Yeah.
Because then they have something to talk about. They can be like in the background, they're like, these guys are fucking idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Do you listen to that shit?
Yeah.
Oh, so she told this girl to be a total bitch to everyone at the bar. Can you believe that? What an idiot.
And you have a good icebreaker, too, because you may not be comfortable going somewhere to just meet someone. So just bring your old snowblower along with, and that's a good conversation starter. I'm looking to buy, sell, or trade. How about I trade you the snowblower for a date? Seems like a pretty...
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Charlie, we could do a whole episode of speed dating going on in the background, and we interview people beforehand, and then the ones that do end up liking each other, we sit them down and interview them that way.
That would be good. That would be really good, and we could get their red flags out right away.
Yeah, so what do you like about Sharon? And then whatever, and then what don't you like?
Yeah.
And then we can work it out there on the
And
podcast.
I don't know about trading a snowblower for a date. Isn't that something else?
Oh, that's not prostitution. Come on now. What'd you call it? A snow what?
Snowblower.
A snowblower.
Yeah, it quite literally is a snowblower. Yeah.
She's doing a little play on
Instead of
words there.
snowplower. You could do both. It's not going to work well.
Yeah.
Well,
Or it will. Whatever.
Yeah, that's a great pickup line.
yeah.
Well, it looks.
You want a snowblower or a snowplower?
I see. Yeah. We just snowed out. You need me to come over and snow plower or snow blower?
There it is. There it is.
See? There.
Would that line work on you?
Yeah. I would giggle. Not going to lie.
That's a yes.
All right. We gotta figure out a way to get a speed dating bellied up episode where we talk and do the episode, and then at the end of it, we interview the happy new couples.
I think the live show aspect needs to happen. This is it. Well, perfect.
Yeah, if we do a live bellied up, it's just you have to confirm that you are single and make it so that everyone there can then mingle.
That would be good.
There you go.
Well, any stones
You guys are onto it.
We are. Hey, we're just spitballing here over at the VFW.
Yeah.
Any stones we left unturned?
No, I think you got it, guys. We'll just keep doing our best.
Just try it once. Try being standoffish and unapproachable at a bar and see what happens.
And make sure you bring your snowblower with you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
All right.
I will try it out.
Thanks for calling in again. This was great. Thanks for the update. And
tell your folks
luck.
we says hi.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
Make sure you knock first, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, always.
Yeah.
You can't just,
Knock
Not
on the
first.
balcony before you walk up there.
Knock, wait 15 seconds, knock, wait 15 seconds, knock again. Then ask if everyone's clothed, and then walk in.
There you go. Good rule.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye. Another job well done.
I
do think we got to do this live thing more.
We do got to figure it out, Charlie.
I mean, it's just you and me, and we just need a logistics guy to make it happen.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we're idea guys. We're not going to implement all the time.
We're not. We're light on the execution.
But ideas we have.
Mm-hmm. Sure, shoot do.
Well, Charlie, I think that's another good episode of the Bellied Up podcast.
I think you're right, Miles. It was a pleasure sitting here with you today. Folks, make sure you get over to the Fargo VFW, have yourself a drink, and don't forget to tip your bartender.
See you in the next one. Love you guys.